This daf here, Yerushalmi Pesachim. In the article, Oz edition is supposed to start at the top of your Gimel and Rav, but we really have to do the last line on his base. I'm the second to last line, Arabun Barchia, which is the beginning of our sugya for today. And in the Vilna, that's on Daf Yud Amud Beis. Arabun Barchia is the 8th line down after the Mishnah. So, our Mishnah, we can derive that the Shemut al-Achila al-Behemas Hefker. They can give your you can give your chametz to Behemas Hefker. Why? Because it says Mefar v'Zol Ruach. You can chop it up and scatter it to the wind. So might as well give it to Behemas Hefker. So the Gemara says, "Hey, Rabbi asked, Fatina Mefar says you have to chop it up, right? Why not just give it directly to the animals as loaves? If you can give it to Behemas Hefker." So Rabbi Yirmiyah Krikos. Rabbi Yirmiyah thought to say, you can give even loaves to the animals. I mean, if you go to Behemas Hefker, the Ridbaz, at the end of the Ridbaz, he brings down that the Gra says that you're allowed to give any Yisrael not to Behemas Hefker. So here too, why not just give it outright to Behemas Hefker? Why do you have to be Mefar? So but again, Rabbi Yirmiyah thought that you should give it out as loaves. Rabbi Yossi said no, lo amar Mefar. No, Rabbi, our Mishnah says specifically you have to be mevatel at first. You can't by chopping it up. By chopping it up, you're showing that it has no value to you. It became Shapiro Bato, right? Because when you're fire, it's Bato. From where we learned they have to chop it up first. So lo yachel chametz hayom. It says you should not feed chametz today, right? So, let's go take us out the word hayom. I think hayom is in the next pasuk. Right, but Yom Matemetim Pasuk Yom Moshe El Ram Mazoros Yom Zeh Shetzim Misayim Bebeis V'Rovdi Chos Yotzi Hashem Eschem Mizev Lo Yachel Chometz. I think it's next pasuk. Let's take a look. Yeah, so it's the first one next pasuk. I don't know if you have to actually take it out. It could be saying normally you can be Machel Chometz Behemas Hefker, but today on Pesach when it's Zman Biur it can't be Machel Behemas Hefker. You have to eat porah. Once the porah is early ruach. Whatever happens. But you have to. I don't think you have to take out the word hayom. So lo yachel chametz. What's going to tell us? I feel klavim raise a balos or b'anoya. Even to give it to dogs, which are not your own, which normally be okay. Today lo yachel. Don't feed it to anything. Okay. Mana kakavim. So Mark elaborates it. What are you talking about? Ima klavo. If it's his own dog, hani suyanoya. This is the regular itzer. Of it's honey, like it's effective with this, it's manifest this, so that's the regular story I know. I feel so it says lo yachel to say about even to other dogs. The own dog it's pashut. Say about even to other dogs which are not your own dogs, those are mares. So ashal behemas hefker. So you're allowed to give it to an animal which is hefker, which normally like the Gra says be mutzer. Special din by chametz. So Yerushalmi has a chiddush. You're not allowed to be machil, it's chametz, and that's how Gemara says, dafka mefar v'zor l'ruach. You have to battle it by cutting up, and then zor l'ruach. But a stray dog happens to eat, then it's not your fault at that point. Okay, Re'avo b'shem Rabbi Yechanan, B'shem Eliezer, sorry, slipped there, because Re'avo b'shem Rabbi Yechanan is going to say something else later on. So Re'avo b'shem Rabbi Eliezer said, Kom b'shem lo sochal, lo sochlu, lo yachlu, the assumption is by default it's also by noah, just like it's also by chila. Until the pasuk comes and specifies that it's mutter by noah. Just like it tells you by every nechai that the mutter by noah, even though they're also by chila. What does it say by every nechai? I'll tell you what says Bas Menachai. Good question. But Sarba said Trefa Loso Chelu Lakev Sashichun also. You'll have to toss it to your dog. So there for me. It's Mutter Banoah. Chima Perush Lon Bavel. What does it say by Nevel that makes it Mutter Banoah? Good question. Lo sochla, lo sochlu konavela, ger shebashafti and vachala. Don't eat a veil to the ger who refers to non-Jewish ger, who's in your courtyard, who's in your gates. Dinanish give it vachala, eat it, and eat it. Or machal nachia, sell it to a non-Jew, right? So sell it to an absolute non-Jew. So in any event, we see you're allowed to derive anah from it. Tanakh is Gilpolik. So the Gemara is very short in this. What basically we're saying is that Chizki argues. He holds that we don't hold the Kol Makom Shemer Lo Sochal Lo Sochlu Yachlu is it's he says it's on but the way it's all it says here is who asked it for a dog? V'chimiyaso lakelev. That the pasuk says lakelev tashlichno so or by by the Minachai, or for that matter, to give the trait for it to the Goy or to the Nachri. Says it's not necessarily come for that purpose. Could it come for another purpose? We don't know it's Asman from Lo Sochlu Yachlu, etc. It's a curiosity which Yerushalmi Pesachim brings down. It's not in front of me where he is. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's a the Brisa. I think we might have it later on, but the Brisa says. So it's not also about no. What's going to tell us? Also, the mashlich kelv in a mashlich kelv chushnish to bazar. It's totally different limud. It's coming to tell us that this you can tell us it's a regular available trait you can give to a dog, but chushnish to bazar you can't give to a dog. So Chizki argues. He says no. These limud come for other purposes, not for your purpose. Lo sochlu yochlu. They're not mashma. It's no. Vaksiv, so Gemara says, doesn't say b'chol chelev shor v'kesav eis lo sochelu. It says you're not allowed to eat the chelev of a shor kesav or eis, the chelev of bema. So Pnei Moshe explains that blezu the baruch v'chimiato at toifes isra no b'chelev ki isra achil b'tmiya. You're going to say that there's an isra hano also by chelev because it says lo sochelu should not eat them. Again, says more no. Rebbe can answer like this. Shania, it's different. The Siva says explicitly. You got a pasuk. Echnami could be nor just said lo sochlu, which would be also by nor, but it says you're allowed to use kol malacha. Okay, let's try another one. Vaksi brak adam lo sochelu. Says don't eat the blood. What are you going to do with that? Rabbi Lezer? Shani, there's different too. Says you spill the blood on the ground like water. Just like water is mutar b'noah. Avadam mutar b'noah. So to blood is mutar b'noah. Okay, so it's it's explicit pasuk there. Vaksiv hakein leichlu b'nei yisrael skiran nosha. Says that you're now that b'nei yisrael now tidi skiran nosha, and like the Korban Eidah says, for the time we learned shleich adam yarech l'el v'kochavim u'kiran nosha b'socho. You send the authority to a guy and with the nosha intact. You're getting paid or not, it still makes it a chashav of matana, so therefore getting a noya from the Gita Nosha. What are you going to do with that? Rabbi Yavo came to Gita Nosha Shemin Avelos. No, so, it says the Gemara, that's talking about the Gita Nosha of Nevelos, right? And when it says, who the mutar b'noah? That's mutar b'noah. Why? Enechnami. The might say Gita Nosha of a kosher animals are also b'noah, but this is from a nevela animal. And why is it mutar b'noah? Kshehutra nevela, because it said before nevela is mutar b'noah, right? So therefore, hilka kshutra nevela he v'chelba v'kida hutra. It's mutar, not just the nevela, but it's included in the gid. Included in the nevela is its gid, part and parcel of the nevela. So therefore, the gid is mutar b'noah. Mutar shachlu hakum. Okay. So the of course they brings out that you only allowed to send it whole, because then the a Jew won't come to buy it from the goy and assume that since it's shechet from a Jew, it's kosher, because you'll see the Gita Nosha is inside, so he'll know, okay, it must be that it's usher to a Jew. Otherwise, the original Jew would not have the Gita Nosha intact inside. Okay, try the next one. Now we're at the Chodesh until the 16th day of Nisan. So it should be also by Noah. It says Lo Sochlu. Rabbi Abba Mori. Achud Rabbi Yosi. Shani. Here it's different. Let's rub that on my Gemara. What it says here. I have an ink splotch there. Hold on. Let me see. It says, scroll. Shani Shekava Kasuv Zman. Okay, here's what it says. Shani Shekava Kasuv Zman. Yeah. So since there's it's a temporary isser, therefore it's not included in the prohibition. It can't be included in the prohibition of the Isra Noah. So there's a famous Asfanda, right? So Simon Yud, who talks about whether a temporary Isra can be an Isra Chefza and only Isra Gavra. So which is only also for a certain amount of time. Can it be intrinsic Isra or is it extrinsic Isra? Right. So I have down inside Yerushalmi does not bring down the Yerushalmi here. This is this Yerushalmi because it's a Pella. Because here it's explicit that a temporary Isser is not Isser Chefza. It's not Isser Bano like any, or at least I shouldn't say explicit, but it seems here it's a temporary Isser is not Isser Chefza. It's not Isser Bano. Right? Intrinsic Isser is Isser Bano, but same way the Isser is going to fall off at some point. It's not Isser intrinsically, and that would be the reason why the Kavalo Kasuz Man it's Mutar Bano. Okay, Steve, let's go to the next one. Lo Sochlum Ki Sheketem. Right, it says by shchotzim, not eating because they're shekets, right? So yet, as the Korban brings down, it's not so that chelos offers the dokim. Stam lemine tameim mutar mochen. You're allowed to sell all sorts of tummy stuff, not as your main parnasa, but you're allowed to sell. You don't have to worry about enough from him. Amar Rabbi, it should be Korban change it to Rabbi Mana. It's missing a name here. Amar Rabbi Mana. Mir Isra Noya Shabo. So the Koran explains the Feish Shitira Kosa Banal see Shekets you lachem shelachem yeh. It's Shekets, but it's lachem. And so lachem is teaches you that it's mutar b'anoah. Okay, so that's Rav Shem Yochanan said Osa isplonis. Somebody who makes Osa b'anoah, right? Somebody who makes a plaster for a wound. Mishor niskal from Shor niskal, which is Osa b'anoah. Chametz pays the shore which is supposed to be stoned is Osa b'anoah. A short ox which is stoned is also bano. Mechametz shlev Pesach and chametz which Pesach is passed, which is also bano. Ain't a loka. They that's get malchus. Shein lo sa shahem mechuvar. The shabo mechuvar. Lo sa say in them is not explicit. And sometimes mechuvar means doraisa. Sometimes it means explicit. As we said in the past, it's not explicit. As the Korban says, "Shein lo says b'mechuvar le'asor ap bano adoksiv lo sochal." Says don't eat. Right, so if he doesn't eat, he's not going with Rabbi Vo named Rabbi Elazar. Right, this Rabbi Vo named Rabbi Yochanan is saying no. Lo sochal is not explicit. It's the bano. They're also banoah, but we don't know from lo sochal because lo sochal does not forbid banoah. It's not explicit. So the article explains that even though it says lo yechaz b'saro, lo yechal chametz, he's arguing saying that it's included sanoah, and it brings down helpfully in note 11 that it's sanoah by shoriskas from bala shor naki. Naki means he's clean of any benefit from the chametz and from the shanisko, and b'chametz of Pesach. Of course, we know that it's not Issa the Raisa, it's the Rabbanon. So therefore, of course, there it's not mechuvar could even mean not the Raisa, but there is in any event. So the Gemara says that mikilei kerem loke. You make a splonis from kilei kerem, they get malchus. Why? Because there's explicit in Torah and alav. The Rabbi Yechina Pentikdash. Right, the lashon of the pasuk is it's very convenient because Torah Shalom. Only I don't say here what it is. Brings out Torah. I must say page 4. Lo sisakar mechakayim Pentikdash hamlea zera shet Yisra utfuas hakerem. So the Pentikdash, Rabbi Chanina Pentikdash Pentu Kadesh. there it's explicit in Torah that if you do have kilayim, it has to be burnt, right? And therefore, it's us that teaches us we are not. Me'orla tzicha. If you made this blunt, it's this plaster from orla, then I have a question. Not sure what the status is. We'll go to the Korban Eidah here. Asay l'roch ksiv. It says, "Ba'asay lo ksiv loshen achila el shalosh shanim yelochem arilim." The Masha Afil Hanoah. It says by the it says as a phrase of mitzvah say, right? Shoshim yelochem by that which is also by Noah. It doesn't say it as a lav. It says mitzvah say, right? Asay l'roch ksiv. It's a mitzvah say. And then he changes the girsa. He says, okay, so I said Rokusiv Los, I said Ochoksiv. Los, I said Roko Loksiv. Okay, so the Haki Perusha, and we'll read the Korban Eidah further. The Siv Yelochem Marilim. The Korban Yelochem Rachkin. Right? That's Anoah, is what I say. Los Achu Lachiloksiv. And then it says Los Achu, which is not Chiloksiv, Lo Echel. Los, I said Roko Loksiv, but Los, I said Anoah, it's not written. Sapkle, meaning came the Gali Kraba say Isra Noah, what the Losa say, and therefore we have a suffix. Okay, it's true, it's phrased in say, but it's in juxtaposition to the Losa say of Losa Chlu, right? Of Losa, what's the name? What's Asher Pasuk? And Torah Yerushalmi comes in very handy. No, that's the wrong one. Where is it? I don't know. It does be down to Torah Yerushalmi here, but it does be on the article in the footnotes. Varal tem or loso SPO. Ashoshim yelochem ailim lo yachel. So that it starts in Asay. It ends with a Los Asay. Again, not according to Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Yachel in of itself does not mean Asay. But since it's juxtaposed, that it's that Lo Yachel, perhaps that the Asay is explaining the Lav, and therefore it makes it Asay. Okay, so we don't know if it's included Lav or not included Lav. So the Gemara doesn't resolve it. Maslisa Pli Rabbi Yochanan. It says the following. It's a brisa. Argues Rabbi Yochanan. Yeah, the brisa. It says Mimashma Shnemar Sokois Kolashor says the ox has to be stoned. The Shor Niskal, the ox which murdered, has to be stoned. Why do we not know it's meat? It's asbachila. It's stoned. It's not shechted. Obviously, it's asbachila. Why does it say lo echels b'saro? It's obvious. But the Echad comes to tell Shekshem Shalas Bachila Kachos Banoya. It says it's like Rabbi Avon and Rabbi Lozer. Right? It's just like it's Shalas Bachila, it's Shalas Banoya. Ma'avad Rabbi Yochanan. That's what we're doing. We're going to do with this. Sounds like clearly that Le'ochel is going to Shalas Banoya. Right? And that's sufficient. Pasal he says no, B'shakadmo Bailim B'shachto. It says here, actually, Mardino, but Cormier changed it. Mishanik Mardino. No, and there is a special enchami from Lo Yachel. You wouldn't know it's us by Noah. That's a special halacha. That's going to tell us that even if you shechted it, kidin, but since Nigmardino to be a shor niskal, since it's been doomed to be a shor niskal, it is also ba'achila despite its shchita. So Rabbi Zira came to Rabbi Avo and asked him, "What's going on here? Who do you hold? It seems like you're contradicting yourself." Before you said lo yachel is mashma yisrael no. Now you're saying lo yachel is not mashma yisrael no. Well, what's going on here? He said no, it's not a problem. It's according to different Amoraim. Rabbi Lazar holds it is mashma yisrael no. Rabbi Yochanan it's not a mashma yisrael no. Okay, next one. It's very good to have nikud like the art school has because it's very much based on the. On how you read the Gemara, and he inputs the article, inputs the nikud in the actual text. Rabbanu Kesar Avo b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbanu Kesar said that Rabbi Avo said named Rabbi Yochanan the following: Kol makom shneimar lo sochal lo sochlu ein hatoves isra noya kisar chila. Whenever it says lo sochal lo sochlu, that's not isra noya. But lo seachel with a tzere. Lo ye'achel with a tzere. Toivis isar noya kisar hanoya. Kisar chila. There you say toivis isar noya kisar chila. There you say isar. It's also not just like it's also about chila. Where do we learn out from? What's it? So binyan of shebakulam, the binyan of the archetype of it all. In other words, the primary source is any chatas whose blood is brought in erroneously to, well, not erroneously, any blood which any chatas which blood is brought into the kodesh prima, inside the, it's not just sprinkled on the outer mizbeach, it's sprinkled inside the heichal. It is erroneously. I don't know what I was talking about a minute ago. Sorry. Any chatas whose blood is brought in from so any blood which is any chatos whose blood is brought into Moed to atone, where it's not supposed to, only supposed to be sprinkled on the outer mizbeach. It's, you can't eat that chatos, but it's got to be burned. So lo seachel b'esh yisrael teaches us any place it's just like here b'esh yisrael. We make a binyan av. Any place it says lo seachel, it means ba'esh yisrael. It's got to be burnt. Okay. So the next tomorrow is going to bring a proof for this, but already it's on the next Omud, and even though it's a relatively short day, but we'll stop here for today. Portani Chizkiah.